Hey fans, this is Chris Bolts coming in with a reaction video. This time it's going to be for a video from Nerdrotic. Woke is broke, and that's a good thing. Now, before I do get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that good stuff helps me out. Now, I will post this video in my in the description, rather, without my commentary. So if you want to check that out, because I always like to give credit to the content creator. I've been following Nerdrotic for a few years now. He's made so much good content that has always kept me entertained. So make sure you do go in there and give him a follow as well. And he doesn't really need my help. He has 1.21 million subscribers. He keeps on growing because he's one of the top pop culture commentators on YouTube. But yeah, go ahead and give him that follow. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this content.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. It's been over 9 months since that little election in November of 2024 tipped the scales and caused the great cultural shift. And for some, that might feel like it was just yesterday, and for others, it might feel like it was a decade.
I'm gonna come.
And while 2025 has been a tumultuous year, one thing you can't say is it's been boring. Still, it might have made it difficult to see the forest through the trees. Some will say woke is dead, or at the very least on bended knee. Others will say they're just circling the wagons and waiting to rebrand. And while that is debatable, and believe me, we'll get into that, it is undeniable over the last 9 months, the woke industrial complex has gotten its ass kicked. Thanks to the aforementioned cultural shift that was long overdue. And what evidence do we have of the woke industrial complex getting its ass kicked, you ask, dear viewer? Good question. I would like to thank the ex-Twitter handle of Sir Bill Holt for putting together this gratitude list.
Now, before we do get into that gratitude list and everything, it is surprising how one man who stood against an entire tide of woke leftism was able to actually change the entire culture. And of course, that one man we're talking about is Donald John Trump, the current president of the United States of America. He stood on principle and he never wavered. When he got shot at, he stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Now, most people, you see that, you instantly earn the respect and admiration of that individual. And even those on the left, they had to go in there and say, you know something, maybe Trump is right about some things, and maybe he's not that bad of a guy after all. Maybe I've been hoodwinked. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
CNN ratings are in a week-to-week death spiral along with MSNBC's. Rachel Maddow had to take a pay cut. Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper were denied raises. Joy Reid was fired. Jim Acosta is gone. Neil Cavuto is gone. Lester Holt is gone. Chuck Todd is gone. Chris Wallace is gone. PBS defunded. NPR is defunded. USAID is gone. And I'm sure USAID's demise has absolutely nothing to do with the things I have mentioned or I'm about to. Total coincidence. ABC was forced to pay $15 million for lying about.
Yeah, on that USAID, it was like the entire scam was just busted wide open. The government was basically funding all the propaganda that has been getting fished out to all of America to make it seem as though leftism is far more popular than what it really is. Imagine that. A country that nearly went all red in 2024 suddenly realizing, oh, wait a minute, you mean that we're the oddballs? Oh, you think? You think they're woke leftists? That you guys weren't the oddballs? You guys like to call yourselves queer. What do you think that means?
about the president. Paramount was forced to settle for $16 million over editing a propaganda piece for 60 Minutes. The Associated Press, or as I like to call them, the Associated Narrative, had to cut 8% of its workforce. A good start. Justin Castro resigned. I'm sorry, Justin Trudeau. The Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America. Woke Doctor Who was essentially canceled. The intersectional feminist Wheel of Time was canceled, leading to Amazon studio head, who's essentially Kathleen Kennedy 2.0. She was the architect of the Rims of Power. Jennifer Salke getting fired. Rachel Zegler's Latinx Snow White bombed. Captain African American bomb. As a matter of fact, every Disney Marvel movie is bombed. Late night ratings continue to tank. Morbidly obese people are appearing less frequently in commercials. White people are back in commercials.
Let's switch channels. This show is dull. You bet.
And we'll get to those last two in just a moment, but it is more than clear that the corporations in charge of our socials, information, and entertainment are in a bit of a conundrum right now. Because it turns out these cowardly, risk-averse companies who made a conscious decision to let the extortion DEI wolf in the door, which alienated well over half of your potential customers who you need to buy the products you advertise on your web pages or stick into your TV shows on streaming services, the same people you need to buy those streaming service subscriptions or news site subscriptions, the same people you need to buy movie tickets, are just over it. And I'm not sure if it's because the investor money is dried up or that USAID money is dried up, but it also turns out that some people in some of these corporations that control our information, entertainment, and socials realize they can't just get by with half of the potential customer base.
I'm glad Nerdrotic brought that up because I've been saying this for the longest time. And maybe everybody in the country, all these companies are starting to figure it out. You never needed to market to LGBT. You never needed to market to the minorities. You never needed to market to anybody that believed bullshit like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those people make up the minority of the country. Let's just be generous with LGBT, that let's just say 10% of the population, which I highly disagree with, but we'll just be fair. We'll just put it out there just for argument's sake. 10% of the population is LGBT. That means the remaining 90% of the population is not. So why would you make any type of marketing push for the 10% at the expense of the 90%? Nerdrotic's being generous, saying half the audience. Nope, more than half the audience. And the same thing applies for the minority groups, like this stuff about needing black voices and black representation this and black representation that. Why would you need that? Why would you market towards the 13% at the expense of the 87%? That makes no damn sense. You think there's a whole bunch of people sitting around wanting to watch a whole bunch of Tyler Perry movies or majority black movies? These companies are now figuring out, hey, you know something? We might need to make content for the majority general audience, which, by the way, happens to be straight white Christian. Who knew? Who knew that was the secret all this time? Let's go ahead and let Nerdrotic continue.
They actually need all of them. Now, is this shift that once again probably should have happened?
And by the way, one thing that I do like to say, neutrality is inclusive. Don't take a side on any issue. Just make good quality content for everyone. Once you choose a side, you have by definition decided to exclude. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a euphemism, or rather a diffemism, for exclusivity. You exclusively only want diverse people, and diverse means anyone who's not white. You want equity against anyone who is white, and you want to include anyone who isn't white. How's that working out for you? Neutrality is inclusive. 3 words. Neutrality is inclusive.
a few years ago happening fast enough? No, but there are signs and portents.
And the portents say it is time.
Again, past time, but at least something is happening. And these aren't the radical changes we wanted, but I would say look more at the reactions than the actual actions if you want to get a white pill. Speaking of late night ratings and white people being back in commercials, let's look at what's happened over the last couple of weeks. You all remember the great Sydney Sweeney controversy that somehow inexplicably is still going on today, where a jeans company did the unthinkable. They put an admittedly hot woman in a pair of jeans working a pun. Now, I know there's some dudes out there who will think Sydney Sweeney is mid, and I'll just say it's okay to be gay.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
And the show...
That's for all the Uncle T's out there. For Conspiracy. By the way, go check his channel out. Conspiracy. Uncle T is a good dude. He's just wrong on Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney is not mid. So let's get that out of the way. Sydney Sweeney is hot as fuck. And she looks good in jeans. And she has good jeans too.
How far the bar has been lowered. This is Sydney Sweeney putting her best assets in baggy jeans. As most of you know by now, since Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign for American Eagle started, their market cap has increased by $400 million, which was fueled by a 20% stock increase. There's been an increase in foot traffic into the American Eagle stores, and the jeans have been selling out online. Oh, and I'm talking about American Eagle jeans on my channel. Is this a response to the worst forced error in marketing history, the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco, and the worst time and most ill-advised ad campaign in history, which just so happened to drop the same month the culture shifted, November?
Jaguar. And yes, I said it specifically like that because that describes that company. They are a Jag. But let's go ahead and continue. Replace that J with an F. Let's continue.
For 2024, that will be Jaguar. And the answer to that question is yes. And while Sydney Sweeney is plastered all over the Sphere in Las Vegas and New York Times Square, where fentanyl zombies are free to watch her all day, not everybody is happy. And these scholars, members of Mensas, sages, and wise women are not afraid to talk about it.
That's Nazi propaganda. Wow.
Those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda.
Now, I don't know if this is a dude or a woman, but whatever the case may be, weird people who call themselves queer calling out normal people as weird. That's all you need to know.
So weird.
Pure Nazi shit. Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
That's one ugly bitch.
Thank you for sharing. And
Woke, leftist, white women are the bane of this country.
if Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle are indeed trying to sell some white supremacy, that was a pretty good ad campaign. But seriously, this is the win. The people who were upset's insanity was on display for everyone to see. And just a few years ago, American Eagle probably would have bent the knee, but they didn't. And now in the future, we're going to get more hot women in commercials. And that's a good thing. And just a few days prior to Sydney Sweeney prancing around in her Canadian tuxedo, it was announced that Late Night with Stephen Colbert would be canceled, but it doesn't end there. He wouldn't be replaced. They just ended the show.
You're fired.
And I can hear you now, dear viewer. Why?
By the way, a little history lesson on The Apprentice. The line of Donald Trump coming in saying you're fired, that was a happenstance. There was an episode where this idiot white dude was calling himself white trash in front of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump looked right at him and says, "Is that how you describe yourself? You describe yourself as white trash?" And of course, he tried to back off of it and tried to cover himself, and he looked around to see if he'd get any type of help, and nobody else would help him. And right there, Donald Trump just basically said, "Hey, you're fired. Go ahead and get out of here." And that line, "you're fired," stuck. It is the two of the most famous words ever spoken. And by the way, just a little clip out there too. You see how Donald Trump was in a major television show called The Apprentice, and then suddenly everybody just turned on him once he decided he wanted to run for president, and he ran as a Republican. I think the Democratic establishment hated him more for the fact that he ran as a Republican more than the fact that he ran as a president, because you are not allowed to leave the Democratic plantation. Once you are a Democrat, you are always a Democrat. It is a religious cult with these people. And they like to call anybody that supports Trump a cultist. I know many of people who no longer support Donald Trump. And when nobody's running around saying, oh, yeah, oh, we're mad at you. Nah, if you don't want to support Trump, don't support Trump. But man, if you leave the Democratic plantation, especially if you black, ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. You and Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus, sound like motherfucker trying to be like the white man, trying to tap dance for the white man. By the way, this video is not going on my Chris Boltz Reacts channel. It's going on my Chris Boltz channel because this is actually a response to a pop culture video. So make of that what you will. If you're going to leave, that's fine. I still respect and support, and I respect you, and I value your support. But this is going on my main channel because this is a reaction to a pop culture video. Let's continue.
The hell haven't they done that years ago? Good question. Considering the Late Late Show with James Corden and No UK Were Never Taking Him Back was canceled in 2023 after operating at a $20 million loss. Turns out the Late Show with Stephen Colbert and his team of writers who were never funny cost $100 million a year and was operating at a $40 million loss.
And these idiots all decided to say, you know something, conservatives don't need to laugh. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and mock conservatives and more specifically, always bash Donald Trump. These motherfuckers should have realized when the country nearly turned all red. But basically, that's the thing about the United States of America. The United States of America is majority conservative. It is all red. But there are pockets in the country where all leftists just congregate, mostly in our major cities. And that is able to, and with that, they're able to still go ahead and exert a whole lot of influence on a country that really does not support anything they support. They just should have looked at that map. Stephen Colbert, that James Corden, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I think Jimmy Fallon kind of did because he had Greg Gutfeld. He's trying to save his ass. Jimmy Fallon. He sees the writing on the wall. Those bitches at The View. All should have looked at that map and say, are we the oddballs? Are we the ones that are really the ones who are on the out? We're not really hip as we think we are? Yes. Yes, Stephen Colbert. Good luck finding work. Hopefully you do that podcast and maybe that'll work out for you.
Despite being a mouthpiece for Pfizer and his mouth on the piece of the Uniparty.
Which, by the way, let me rewind back. Let's go back. I need to go back to that one scene.
Never funny, cost $100 million a year and was operating at a $40 million loss.
Despite being a mouthpiece
for
This right here is a massive embarrassment. First of all, you got all these sorry ass, zesty, sassy dudes in the background. I want to use other words, but I'm going to try to keep this cordial for YouTube. You got all these zesty, sassy dudes in the background dancing to the vaccine. That was absurd. Absolutely absurd. This will always live in infamy. Every time you look at, he should be ashamed of himself. Every time this video his name comes up, people are going to play this video. Oh, you're the guy that made a song about the vaccine. You dumbass idiot.
Pfizer and his mouth on the piece of the Uniparty. And he had the best ratings of all the broadcast late night shows, which makes you wonder how they're performing. And for that, you need to look no further than his competitors' reaction. If Jay Leno was canceled, David Letterman would have had a party and danced on his grave and vice versa. And of course, this is being framed as something that's as absurd as saying American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney are pushing eugenics and white supremacy with their jeans commercial pun. The media narrative is that Donald Trump made firing Stephen Colbert a stipulation in the Skydance Paramount merger over Paramount owns 60 Minutes editing a propaganda piece. Now, one may argue that 60 Minutes is just propaganda, and you'd be right. Now, I guess an argument can be made that Paramount and Skydance offered up Stephen Colbert to sweeten the deal to get that merger through, but I think the truth is that Late Night with Stephen Colbert was canceled because it cost $100 million a year, lost $40 million a year, which probably contributed to the $15 billion in debt Paramount was in. Meaning, nobody was watching it, or more importantly, buying the products that were advertised on the show. And I will not even entertain your slanders stating that this has something to do with USAID shutting down. That is a conspiracy. And quite frankly, aside from his comrades in late night, including but not limited to Jon Stewart, Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Kimmel, old boomers who need something to fall asleep to in the corporate legacy media, everyone else is happy about this. The bad news is the show still runs for another year. The good news is we won't have clips from a show polluting YouTube anymore.
Nah, you won't need that. But as Stephen Colbert, like he said, lasts for another year. But go try to watch his late night show. The guy is monumentally angry. He keeps slandering his own employer, and he keeps bringing on the leftists as if he's just, hey, it's burning. I'm just going to go down with this ship, and I'm going to take as many people with me. Like, whoever thought his shtick was funny? I never thought his shtick was funny when he was doing the Colbert Report, where he's trying to be a fake Bill O'Reilly. It's like, man, he was stupid then. But it's kind of funny how all this stuff is starting to just blow up as if it wasn't a natural occurrence. It didn't just have a natural audience. Imagine that. I don't think USAID had anything to do with it, though.
Now that I think of it, I haven't seen them that much lately.
But wait, there's more.
This brings us to the king of all sellouts, Howard Stern. It was reported by the citadel of journalism, The Sun, which has never been sued for lying or stalking, but the former shock jock turned into agoraphobic twat wouldn't be re-upped by Sirius, or at least lowballed. And
the old Howard Stern would never have this guy on there. I don't think the old Howard Stern, when he was on broadcast radio, I don't think he ever had an actual politician on his show, because his show was that raunchy, that out of the mainstream, that weird, that politicians stayed away. He might have had a couple on there, I think, but he definitely would not have had Joe Biden, this husk of a man who's not even there. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. And in fact, he blew up his entire campaign when he went on Howard Stern and said, oh yeah, I would debate Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure his aides were like, oh fuck, what the fuck did he do? We can't back out of this now, because he publicly said that he would debate Donald Trump. And we all know how that turned out. Look, we've defeated Medicare.
by Sirius, or at least lowballed. And that would make sense, considering the former self-anointed king of all media, who I used to be a big fan of. He was a man of the people. He was the voice of the working man, and he used to roast Hollywood all the time, and now he's turned into what he used to make fun of. A celebrity ass-kissing Yenta cost Sirius $100 million a year. Back during his peak, Howard Stern used to have 20 million people listening to him, and now it's being reported it's in the low 100,000s. And considering his act of late, that seems a bit high.
When are we going to stop putting up with the idiots in this country and just say, it's mandatory to get vaccinated? F*** them, their freedom. I want my freedom to live.
And you're the kind of leader I love, because we're lucky to have you in the Oval Office and serving as the father of the country, because if you're a good father to your family, which you are, I know you'd be a good father to the country.
What a biggity bitch.
And the king of all media, who used to be regularly discussed in the news for controversial statements and was truly a groundbreaking broadcaster, is now the biggest sellout of all time, and his demise can be summed up in 2 clips.
Ellen DeGeneres is such a jerk. I love every show when you come out and dance.
And now the only time he's ever discussed in the news is no longer for hot takes, it's for bad ones. Or when this former man of the people leaves his mansion for the first time in 2 years over COVID.
Enjoy, live life.
You did get it in
Embrace
May.
life.
You did get it.
I got it after I was vaccinated. Let's not even get into that, because I know you and your boyfriend, Howard Stern, are very paranoid about this.
Or when his bosses just let his contract run out. There would have been a time where this might have upset people, but that was over a decade ago. And if you look at the reaction now, it ranges from what took you so long to good. And that's the good news.
Or the primary reaction that I mostly get when I talk about this: who the hell is Howard Stern? Nobody knows who this man is. That was, and you guys saw that stat earlier, 20 million listeners on broadcast radio, all the way down to 125,000 on satellite. The people at Sirius XM that brought him on, they were damn fools. They thought that everybody would just get up and follow Howard Stern over to wherever he was going. They forgot one little thing. You don't have to pay to listen to the broadcast radio. Who knew? It would have been better if Sirius would have just sponsored his show, left him on radio, and just carried the broadcast on Sirius XM. But what do I know? I'm just some guy with a microphone.
Bad news is, this is just a rumor and it could all be a work. But it would be funny if the dinosaur broadcasting company Sirius XM lowballed Howard Stern and he had to take it just to feel relevant. And somewhere, Don Imus is laughing. And aside from American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney, what does everything I've mentioned have in common? From the fashion industry having dudes selling perfume and stuffing morbidly obese people into jeans, or traditional corporations in America and beyond succumbing to woke marketing, from Walmart to Target to John Deere to Harley Davidson to...
Oh, fuck off. I am so tired of LGBT being in everything. That's just, I don't know which is worse, having black people in everything or having LGBT in everything. I think LGBT in everything is probably worse. Who thought this was a good fucking idea? Nobody wants to see men doing any type of crazy ass weird shit. Who thought that was a good idea? That's just absolutely gross. Like, who thought that was a good idea? Nobody wants to see men do weird shit.
Jaguar and Bud Light, to every single late night show, to The Daily Show, which in my humble opinion was always to Howard Stern. They chose a side, alienated half of this country, half of the potential audience / customers in other countries, and worse, made an enemy of them.
I hate you for voting for him, for not having an intelligence. I hate you. I don't want you here.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks.
Not a great plan.
Some obviously haven't learned their lesson, and some have. But we still have one more to talk about. Speaking of corporations that betrayed their core audience, Disney, a corporation who doesn't have a problem with naughty things being taught to kindergartners in Florida, shrunk Finn on the Force Awakens poster for China, covered up the late Chadwick Boseman's face on the Black Panther poster for China. They also didn't have a problem thanking the province that controls a concentration camp in China, and they had no qualms with doing business in a country where being gay is illegal. yabba dabba Abu Dhabi. And they really didn't have a problem casting Pedro Pascal in two of their biggest franchises, even after he called half the country Confederate Nazis. But it seems they took great exception with Gina Carano making an analogy, leading to Gina.
By the way, congratulations to Gina Carano for that really big settlement you got. Don't worry about any of the bitches on our side that are sitting there thinking that you should have kept on fighting Disney. Nah, take your money and go have some fun for a little bit. No, nobody's gonna hate you for it. Disney has done enough damage to itself. They don't need you going in there putting more damage. But by the way, we got Bo DeMayo that's out there spilling the beans about Disney Marvel. So take your rest, girl. You earned it. You definitely earned the rest. Go have fun with that money. Go take some time. Go kick some bags. Go slam some bags. Go choke some fools out. That'll make you feel good.
Carano, with the help of Elon Musk's lawyers, suing Disney, and she won. Now, it was more of a technical knockout than a knockout, but it was a win nonetheless. Now, I would have loved to seen a video where Kathleen Kennedy starts out with
Fade in.
and then commences to, on her knees, grovel to a standing Gina Carano in full Cara Dune regalia, apologizing to Gina, the entire Star Wars fan base, George Lucas, and then resigning. I would have loved discovery and access to those emails. That would have been content for at least 2 years, and then I could retire to Abu Dhabi.
And I've on a toilet made out of solid gold, but it's just not in the cards now, is it?
But she did pull off the unthinkable. Gina made the corporate god bleed and submit. Keep in mind, this was Lucasfilm's first statement after Gina Carano's firing. Gina Carano was not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural or religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. And it was statements like that Disney was repeating right up to 2024, but now their tune has changed. The Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm are pleased to announce that we have reached an agreement with Gina Carano to resolve the issues in her pending lawsuit against the companies. You mean your companies. Miss Carano was always well respected by her directors, co-stars, and staff, and she worked hard to perfect her craft while treating her colleagues with kindness and respect. With
bullshit.
This lawsuit concluded, we look forward to identifying opportunities to work together with Miss Carano in the near future. That might not sound like an apology to you, because it isn't, but it's as close as we're going to get. And the significance of this cannot be undersold. Outside of Tom Cruise, there isn't an actor in that town that could have gotten Disney to do this. And that's thanks to Gina, who has the biggest metaphorical balls in Hollywood, and Elon's lawyers. Keeping in mind, despite how much I was rooting for her, this was a tough case to prove, and Gina could have easily lost. And I'm sure that's what Disney and Lucasfilm thought too, but pride comes before the bitch slap. Also keep in mind, this did embarrass Disney. This embarrassed Bob Iger. This embarrassed Lucasfilm. This embarrassed Kathleen Kennedy. And I guarantee you, everyone in that building at the Presidio is quietly pissed, and it just make you feel good.
So good.
And again, if you don't think this is a loss, look at the reactions.
But we know why the worst kinds of people are really excited about this, right? We understand why.
Let me guess, bougie black Negro. It's because of racism, right? It's because of racism. Oh my God. I can't be the only one tired of black people. I'm so sick and tired of black people, especially when they go on rants like this shit right here. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
It is that they need to make this a win.
Did Carano's anti-vax, alt-right, transphobic comments have anything to do with the fact that they don't want to work with her? Yes.
Since Bob Iger came back, there has been a complete gut.
When is the white man gonna get some balls about himself? When is the white man gonna just stand up and stop acting like a little bitch like that little white dude that we just passed this guy right here? Oh my God. Alt-right and cheers. Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Of anything that makes Disney so appealing to minority communities.
Elon Musk helped her.
What about making Disney appealing to the, majority community? What about that? How about making Disney appealing to the majority community? Don't they like money? I guess they don't. And here's another white man about to say some stupid shit. Let's listen.
That's the only reason why this lawsuit went on for so long and ended up being settled, because she had unlimited funds for this lawsuit.
Now, I don't want to throw too many wins at you because you might pull something, but Rosie O'Donnell thinks because of Donald Trump, The View might get canceled. While that would be bad for content creators, it would be great for humanity. And you saw this when they lost Twitter to Elon. And when you see these minor little gains in the culture war by the other side,
Everyone loses their minds.
let's hear from the tolerant left.
White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel. Nobody wants to see that shit. No one.
And the only thing less funny than woke white women with plastic in their face is woke comedians.
Yourself. Just go yourself.
I've been seeing like Jezelnik having an issue with people like Tony Hinchcliffe, who he's saying uses profanity or just shock value comedy. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, at this point, it's lazy and sloppy and hackneyed. It's hack now. I mean, you know, you guys got the freedom you wanted. You can now say whatever you want. They're defeated. Their rights have been denied. So whether they knew it or not, that's what they were spearheading. So now it's reality, and you want to still keep kicking them?
Yup. But at least there are some that are admittedly struggling with introspection.
Republicans know the difference between right and wrong in general. Like, they know what they're doing. But the left, I'm on the left. But like, I find in general, the party that is about inclusivity is incredibly elitist. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe. You know, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive, and I mean they repel people.
Oh, you don't say, Jimmy Kimmel. You mean like a repulsive belief such as a man can become a woman simply by saying so? And that he should be able to play in women's sports, go into women's bathrooms, go into women's prisons because hey, I'm a woman. You mean a repulsive belief like that? Or a repulsive belief like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, we should be able to murder unborn babies. Oh, or if they're actually born, yeah, we up until 9 months, no problem. Or how dare you say Washington D.C. isn't safe? Don't you know that crime is down 30%? Some god awful statistic number. Okay, well, walk your sorry ass out in the streets at night. Hell, do it in the afternoon by yourself. Go for it. Do it. Crime is down in Washington, D.C., and South Chicago, and Compton, and Oakland, and New Orleans, and Nashville, and Baltimore, or any other place where it's majority black. Go for it. Walk by yourself. And do it at night if you really feel safe. I asked some dumb fool on Instagram, name a majority black city that everybody clamors to go vacation in. Never got a response, but I digress. Let's get back to this video.
They go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you. And I think that if you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be part of your group.
Gee, I wonder why.
I saw Caitlyn Jenner saying trans girls should not play.
Caitlyn Jenner. That's Bruce Jenner, by the way. That's Bruce Jenner saying that boys should not play in girls' sports. It's like, you can't, they don't, if you tell the truth, they get mad at you. If you tell the truth, the left gets mad at you. Bruce Jenner, that's who was born to his parents. His parents didn't have a girl named Caitlyn Jenner. His name is Bruce Jenner. There is no such thing as trans girls. They are boys. And if there are parents that are doing this shit to their kids, those parents should be arrested and have those kids removed from them. Why can't we go back to the normalcy? Why? It's absurd. Parents harming their own kids because they want to play leftist politics.
Girls sports. Caitlin, you're a woman, right?
Wrong.
Wrong, bitch. You're a woman, Sarah Silverman. Bruce Jenner is a dude.
Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
By the way, these are the people that want power. They are acting like this when you are armed. Imagine how they would act if you were disarmed. Don't ever disarm. That was profound evil, what Jimmy Kimmel just said. Oh, you don't satisfy my worldview? Then you don't get service. These are the same motherfuckers that was going around throwing in people's faces, conservatives' faces. Oh, you guys don't care about grandma. You don't care about this person. You don't care about that person. But they get to sit there and say dumb shit like that? Oh, you didn't take a vaccine that I support? No. You don't need health care. Just go die somewhere. Quietly. Preferably. These people are sick and depraved. Absolutely sick and depraved. That is why your show is doing poorly. Saying shit like that. Telling people who just want to have a good laugh at night before they go to bed, oh, you didn't take the vaccine? Then go die. No help for you. No soup for you. You sick fuckers.
Interesting. It makes you wonder why people who at least seemed cool a long time ago pulled a massive 180, like Howard Stern, Sarah Silverman, and Jimmy Kimmel. To be fair, sacrificing your integrity or dignity on the altar of agenda or...
And notice that they all get to do blackface because they're all leftists. But of course, I'm the Uncle Tom sellout, Uncle Ruckus, tap dancing for the white man, Negro, and everything like that. Me personally, I don't give a fuck that they do blackface like that. You want to do blackface, go right ahead. It won't bother me. But for the pro-blackity blacks, the pro-bougie blacks that get upset every time some conservative says something that they think is a coded message, is a dog whistle for the racists, for the white supremacists out there. What do you guys think about that? Seeing Sarah Silverman and Jimmy Kimmel and Justin Trudeau and Howard Stern doing actual blackface. What you guys think about that? You guys ain't gonna say shit because you guys are Democrat apparatchiks. They get to do racist things towards you because they're in the club. Little sick, hypocritical bastards.
Something else isn't that unusual in Hollywood. But whether it was authentic enough, at least Jimmy Fallon tried to do something uniting on his show when he brought on the true king of late night, Greg Gutfeld. And of course, the usual suspects roasted him for it. And this woke Hollywood again is why you lose. It's time you get with the culture or fade away because people are sick of this. The great cultural shift of November 2024 was inevitable because it was being held back. It's not like it came out of nowhere. It was more like a dam breaking. I mean, I'm glad more people are realizing this, but don't you find it strange that the vast majority of broadcast news networks sound exactly the same? Yet there was one network, Fox, that was just controlled opposition and always the enemy, and their ratings were always better. Didn't you find it strange over the last half decade that all of the late night shows sounded the same? And isn't it strange that a lot of the scripted content we saw on streaming, on broadcast television, or in the theater over the last decade, increasingly pumped it with the same 4 or 5 variations of the message? So while the media will frame this as kissing the ring of the president, or MAGA, who played their part, in truth, it's bending the knee to the customer. We need to be grateful the great cultural shift happened when it did, even if it was last minute, and thanks to their own doing, these 20th century models are now in full-on entropy and are primed to be either reinvented or replaced, and it's long overdue. And that's because of you, and I did not mean that to rhyme, because they turned the audience into an enemy, and now, as predicted, They're the competition. YouTube and other socials are dominating the dinosaur media. And this brings us to the question, is woke really dead? Unfortunately, the short answer is no, and it never will be. The good news is the tolerance of the...
And truthfully, woke shouldn't be dead. Because guess what all the content that we got in the 90s, the early aughts, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, and even the 50s. A lot of that content was, oh my God, it was woke. But there's a difference. At the time, the people who were making the content, they still cared about their customer and they still cared about telling good stories. And they never told you what to think. There's a really good example. Let me just move over from Nerdrotic for a minute. I'm gonna pull up something here. Hopefully, I don't get any type of issues. Don Cheadle, Golden Girls, Confederate flag. That'll work. This right here. This scene right here. I got it. Oh my goodness. I've been getting this error all day.
There is sin going on in our hotels. Rose, I'm sorry, but that is one glass house in this hotel.
Now, in this particular scene, Don Cheadle plays a uppity, no, I shouldn't say uppity black dude, but he does play one of these bougie blacks that get offended when he sees the Confederate flag. And when he sees the Confederate flag, right here, there has a really good discussion between Blanche and his character. But you get two competing perspectives, and they don't tell you what to think. They let you, the viewer, decide who was right, who was wrong. Maybe both of them were wrong. Maybe both of them were right. But you, the viewer, get to decide and sit there and look at this.
It belonged to Big Granddaddy.
Hollingsworth. He used to bring it to all our fine old Southern family picnics where all the cousins would gather. Everybody was courteous and mannerly, and gentlemen would ask ladies for the favor of a dance. And Cousin Rex would be home on vacation from Colonel Bob's school for bad boys. He'd ask me for the favor other than the dancing favor. And we'd... It's a grand old flag.
Wait a minute, now I get it. This is just good old-fashioned fun.
Yes.
Okay, well, say, how about on Tuesday nights we hang the Nazi flag, hire an oompa band, and dress you up like Eva Braun?
This is not the same as the Nazi flag.
Yeah, well, it is to me, Blanche. Look, when you look at this flag, you see some Southern...
Now, I don't want to play the entire thing. By the way, I happen to agree with Blanche more than I agree with Don Cheadle. Oh, no, you were tap dancing Negro for the white man again? No, I'm not, because the Confederate flag is as much a part of American history as Old Glory is. It's part of our history. Some people in the South value that flag. Some of the black people in the South value that flag. It's a flag that represented pride of the South. Unfortunately, they fought on the wrong side of the Civil War, but there you go. A flag I find a little bit more offensive than that is the LGBT flag. Go try running over an LGBT flag. Go try doing it, desecrating that flag, and see what happens to you. You're allowed to burn the American flag, which should not be allowed in this country. And it's not allowed in any no other country allows their citizens to burn the flag of their country. But here in America, it's considered free expression. Now try burning an LGBT flag and see how the LGBT treats you. And see how many states that support that nonsense treats you. Let's get back over here to Nerdrotic so he can finish out. Hopefully I don't have any issues playing this thing.
the general public to put up with it is at nil. But there's no doubt it suffered major brand damage. People are going to claim they were never about all that woke stuff. It will quietly walk away with its tail between its leg and then eventually rebrand. And you know what? Ultimately, I'm grateful that fuckstick from BlackRock thought he could use corporations and through that our entertainment to force behaviors.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors.
Because his arrogant ass overplayed his hand and brought us to where we are today. Oh, and they're not giving up. There's still shenanigans going on, like the credit card companies trying to remove games from Steam from my fellow gamers. But thankfully, more people are aware and they're fighting back. So trying to remain grateful, and admittedly, after some heavy losses 9 months into the great cultural shift, we've actually piled up a few wins, and I'll take them. It's like what we say around here, progress, not perfection. But as it stands right now, again, while it's not dead and never will be, woke is most definitely broke.
Nerdrotic.com.
And like I said, I will post this video in the description if you want it without my commentary. But he is absolutely right. When has anything forced upon people ever worked? Forced integration, forced segregation, forced church attendance, forced reading of this, forced that. Trying to force behaviors has never, ever worked. The true progress is long and arduous. You can't force change simply because you think you got the right ideas. You still got to get the buy-in from the customer or from the general audience or from the general public. So I really enjoyed that video. I hope you guys did too. I know this is a kind of on the longer one and everything like that, but I think it's well worth it to go in there and discuss these types of issues. Nerdrotic, he is the modern day Eric Hoffer. If you guys don't know who Eric Hoffer is, he is considered the longshoreman, the philosopher, a blue collar philosopher that pretty much just looked at the world and came up with some really good ideas about the world. Nerdrotic is the same. So those are my thoughts. Jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And make sure you do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that good stuff really helps me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolts signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You take it easy.